Hi gems, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get straight into these gingerbread nails. The first thing that comes to my head when I think about gingerbread man is from Shrek when he was like, the muffin man. So the colors that I'm gonna be starting off with is this brown by D&D. It's called walnut brown. I feel like that's like a really good true brown. And then I have this orange, which is called orange soda. How typical. And then my white, which is called snowflake. I love this white. This is like a true white too. That's all we need to create Gingy. Now, for the decorations that's going to go on his house and on the rest of the nails, you're going to need all your primary colors. You can pause the video and read the colors of the polishes. Now, I wanted to use these colors because I know there'll be some good on-hand colors, especially if you're a beginner and you're just starting out. These are some really good colors to get because you'll be able to mix them and create any other color that you want to. The first color that you're going to go in with is your white. And I say your white because it's easier to darken a white up than it is to put down the brown and then try to lighten it up with the white. You're going to have to use a whole lot of white to lighten up that dark brown. So we're just going to go in and add a few dabs of the white. Now, at this point, you want to add enough because you don't want to have to double back and create the color again, because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to come out the same color that came out the first time you did it. I have spoke about color theory before in my previous video, but we are going for a gingerbread color. Like, their color is kind of like a brown, but like a tannish brown. But this color brown has no type of warmth to it. As y'all can see, it really doesn't. So to warm this up, we're going to go in with the white to lighten it and then the orange to warm the color up. The good thing with mixing your own colors is that you can go back and forth from taking a colorway to adding more of a certain color. You don't really have to be stuck with that one color. You know what I mean? I'm going to go in with my dotting tool to mix all these colors up and see what I get. This is really like gambling. You never know the outcome. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We got close enough to what I'm looking for, but not quite. You see, as I'm mixing it, it's more of on a cool tone brown. It's still cool tone. So what we're going to do is you're going to look at it and you're going to add some more orange. Now, be careful. Add little at a time. A little goes a long way, just to see what particular color you're going for and what desired color you want. You don't want to add too much orange, but if you end up doing, you can always go back in with the brown. Y'all are watching this color come to life in the flesh. Now, this is the color that I was really going for, that tannish, more like skin tone look. The first color was not giving skin tone, it was giving muddy. This one is giving more of a warm skin tone that I was going for. Just a little more tweaking, because somehow I am never just satisfied and could not leave that color alone. So I'm adding a little bit more of the orange, just a little bit, you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to do more color theory, nail art type of videos, because I love this, honestly. I grew to love it at first. When I was in cosmetology school, it was stressing me out. But when I actually got my hands on the colors and actually tried them, I grew to love it. Now that we have our nice caramel brown, let's get into drawing Gingy and his girlfriend. Taking my dotting tool, I'm going to map out where I want Gingy to be, because it's going to be 2 of them on one nail. So I don't want to draw him too big or too small. So we're going to map this out to where it can come out good. Now, this design, I feel like you can't really go wrong with it, because with using a dotting tool, it's going to make it easier. Because the gingerbread is round. It don't have any sharp corners or anything like that. It's just a round figure. Taking your dotting tool, you're going to submerge all that into the gel polish, and you're going to create a dot for the head. Now, however big you want the head, that's how big you make the dot. But you can always make it bigger, but you can't make it smaller unless you're going to take the whole head off. Now, let's start to create a guide for his body. So for his arms, you're going to do 2 dots kind of closer together on the head, but not exactly in the same position as the head. You want to do it a little farther out. Now, for the dots for his legs, you want those to be wider than the dots for his arms. And remember, this is just an outline of his body. We can always go back and tweak it, which I ended up doing. Let's start making him come to life. So I need all ears open when I say this. You're going to draw a line from his head, and from that line, you're going to connect the dots from the arms to the line that you did from the neck. And then you're going to start making a cylinder with those lines, aka connecting those two dots across from each other. Now we're going to start to give him a little waist. Not too tiny now. We're not trying to give him itsy bitsy. He's still a man, so we're going to give him a little waist. Make sure it's still a little wide. And you're going to connect the dots from the middle of the arms and connect them to the ones at the bottom. And you're going to draw a V in between those two dots to separate his legs. Now, Gingy has came together. Now, at this point, you can alter him. You can make his feet a little longer if you want to, and make his arms longer, because I ended up doing that, and his head was a little too tiny for me, so I ended up making that bigger too. Now, as far as his girlfriend, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for Gingy. I'm going to map out the same thing that I did, but the only thing is they're going to be holding hands. Because obviously, on the nail, the space on the nail is kind of small. So, how cute would it be if they hold hands? You know, her waist is going to be itsy bitsy and tiny weeny and snatched, unlike Gingy's. Since we already have this brown, we're just going to go ahead and do all the brown designs that we need to do. So next up is the gingerbread house. Starting off, to draw the house, you're going to draw two diagonal lines where the point meets in the middle of the nail. Just draw half of a triangle. I didn't want my house that big, so I started it off a little lower on the nail, but you can start it off as high as you want to. Taking my flat brush, I'm just going to put some gel polish on there and fill in all that negative space. Y'all, why was going to waste my damn time and try to fill in all of that house with that damn gel polish? Just make sure you have a flat brush, and it's going to make the process even faster. Y'all finna see in a second. On my ring finger, I just did a cute little swirl design because I wanted to do the little Christmas lights. and I just used the same color as I did for all the gingerbread designs. Now that I have all my colors laid out, I'm going to start off by doing my little gumball design. Taking that white that I have, I'm just going to dip my brush in there and add a little bit to the corner of that green color. Not mixing it in the whole thing because I still want some of that green left, so I'm just going to add it to the corner of it. I did not mean to say gumballs, y'all. I meant gumdrops. So out of all designs, I think this one is the most easiest one because when you're drawing the gumdrop, I want to say gumball. when you're drawing the gumdrop, all you're going to do is draw a arch. So just like how you draw a rainbow, that's what you're going to do. And you're just going to draw a straight line at the bottom and connect them. And boom, you have a gumdrop. A gumdrop. Gumdrop? Gumdrop. I did not want to do one big old gumdrop. So I did them at different angles. Like I did like 4 or 5 of them going down my nail. I don't remember. But I turned them at different angles to where it kind of looked like they're falling. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Going in with this glitter that I have from Beetles, that's the number of the glitter. I'm going to put the glitter on the nail to resemble like, you know how the little sugar be on like the gumdrops? That's what I wanted to give. I thought of this at the last minute. I was like, they look too plain. I was like, they're missing something. It was the sugar. And a reminder, if you have any questions about what I'm doing or any designs that I'm doing in this video, please do not hesitate to comment them down below. I would love to answer your questions because I know sometimes when you're seeing somebody do this, it looks intimidating. Trust me, I have watched people do this and I'm like, like, do I really think I could do this? But guess what? It's only hard if you do not try. Once you try and you get the hang of it, you got it. Make sure you're curing the gel polish after every art that you do because you don't want it to mess up and then you have to restart all over again. So the quickest way that I noticed to do all these detailed gel art is to do one nail at a time. And when I say one nail at a time, I mean finishing off a nail and then moving on to the next nail. Don't go back and forth between nails. It's gonna no. Just finish one off and go to the next one. Now it's time to get into these Christmas lights. So starting off for the Christmas lights, you're going to create like a teardrop effect. You want the end of the Christmas light to be really pointy. Now, the motion that you're going to go with your brush is in, out, in. You want the beginning of it to be small, the middle of it to be fat, and then the end of it to be skinny. So you're going to go in, out, and flick it back in. And you can alternate them from side to side, however you want to, and choose whatever colors you want. Make them your own. Make them fun. The last minute when I got finished with these two nails, I decided that I wanted to add little highlights to them, especially on the lights. Now, when it comes down to adding highlights on things, you want to do it kind of in the corner. And you want to do this with more of a rounder object. When the object is rounder, that's the best to add the highlights, like on the gumdrops and on the lights, to give that illusion that the light is bouncing off of the object. Now, the thinner the lines are, the more realistic they're going to be. So make sure you really have a thin amount of the gel polish on your brush. And once you put it in the gel polish, I want you to take your gel brush and run it off on whatever palette you have to get most of that product off, so it won't be a big old glob once you lay it down. And when you're drawing a line on the object, you don't have to take it all the way down the side of the nail. All you have to do is draw a little short line at the top by the curve, and you're good to go. Time to finish dressing Mr. and Mrs. Gingy. So taking the smallest dotting tool that I have, because I do not want them to have no fat dots on them, and they're tiny. So using a light hand, I'm going to place their dots. I'm just doing 3 going down his chest, and then I'm going to do his eyeballs, and I'm going to give him a little smile. I did not want to do the smile too big because I did not want him to look creepy. So the best thing with doing these dots is to use a light hand so they don't come out too big. Now you can always wipe them off, but I like to do things right the first time. But sometimes, yeah, I can't always do that. Don't pay attention to my damn thumb, because this acrylic will not come off my thumb, just in case y'all see that. I do not have the clip of me decorating the gingerbread house. My storage was doing me dirty. Yeah. So, but I did want to show y'all how I did this shadow on the bow to make her bow look more realistic. So I ended up mixing black with the red to get me a more darker red to define the middle part of her bow so it all don't look like one and it kind of looked like it's separated a little bit. To start this off, I took a thin amount on my brush and towards the middle of the bow I started drawing strokes coming to the end of the bow. So from the middle I started drawing strokes to come out of the bow to give it like that crinkly effect of the bow in the middle. So after I did that, I started drawing Mr. Gingy's hat. I was like, he looks a little plain. He has to match her. So I drew a headband across his head and then I made it elevate a little bit, come up to where I can feather it off and it could be his little puffball for his Santa hat. Now for the end of his Santa hat, you want to make sure you flick it more outward because if it's too close to his head, you're not going to be able to differentiate the difference between the puffball and the hat. It's going to be too close together. Learn from me. So taking the black, I ended up mixing a little black with that red to darken it up more so it could look hollow on the inside of her bow. As y'all can see, it looked really pretty and it came together really cute. I just did it at the top, and to create his little fluffs at the top of his head, I just did a couple of C motions. Kind of look like clouds, like how I used to draw clouds in middle school. And I did that and filled it in and gave him a cute little Santa hat. I hope everyone learned something from this video, and I'm going to see you on my next one. Bye.